this is a comedy response video. The British Fist put up a couple of, and one member of the British Fist put up a couple of interesting videos about who they think are the future WWE superstars and upper mid-carders, occasional main eventers, and their factors of what they think makes a regular match an outstanding match. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to talk about the future WWE stars I see as being main eventers. Obviously, I'm assuming that John Cena and Randy Orton are out of the picture by this point. So I've got The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio. I can see all of those being in the main event pictures within the next 2 years or so. I mean, obviously The Miz, Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio are already semi there. But I do think Dolph Ziggler has shitloads of potential, excuse my language, but he really does. And I really do think that he belongs in that main event slot. Upper mid-carders, occasional main eventers. Cody Rhodes, I definitely think, has the potential to reach that. Daniel Bryan, I definitely think, is also up there. Wade Barrett, I actually, on their one, they had Wade Barrett as a main eventer and Dolph Ziggler as an occasional main eventer. I think that should be the other way around. I really don't rate Wade. Anyway, I don't think Wade Barrett is as good as some people think he is. And I've put John Morrison on there as well. Yes, I know there's lots of rumours about John Morrison being dropped, but then again, he was tag teaming with Cena on house shows like last week, so I don't know. I think there's a lot of rumour, and I think sometimes the rumour mill spins out of control. I don't think that they would fire John Morrison just yet. I don't think that we've seen nearly the potential he has. With things like Elimination Chamber and the Royal Rumble coming up, he is the highlight package of most of those sort of matches. So, and TLC obviously. He is the guy for those sort of matches. So that's my thoughts on that little bit. They put Alex Riley in their upper mid-card occasional main eventers. I really don't rate him. I find him very, very generic. I don't know why. There's something I find really irritating about him. I just kind of want to shake him and sort of say, get a personality! Because he's just so bland. I just find him really, really dull. It's not even like, he doesn't even pull off like the cocky jock thing particularly well. I mean, maybe the high school football star thing, but it's just sort of like, yeah, but you're a 30-year-old high school football star who didn't actually get anywhere in football. So really, you should just be working behind a bar somewhere, but you decided to become a wrestler. That's probably a bit harsh, but I don't know. I don't see what people see in him. I'm not sure I ever will. I just find him really bland. I mean, I must admit, there are like certain guys who it takes me a while to warm up to. It took me ages to warm up to Drew McIntyre. I finally started to like the guy and they stopped pushing him. Oh god. Me and John have like the worst look on the planet when it comes to guys we like. Oh well. Okay, the next thing was factors for a fight that take a match from being an okay match to being a great, amazing, awesome match. And I've written it as my 10 factors for a 5-star match. A mixture of match moves. There needs to be a little bit of everything. If it's just punch, punch, slam, I get bored very quickly. I do kind of agree with Crystal from Most Extreme Wrestling, because she says a lot of the girls tend to go for the high flyers, and I do kind of see her point, because we tend to go for the more interesting guys, the more intricate move sets, but I do love a good technical wrestler as well, so I suppose it balances off. But yeah, a good mixture of match moves. So, because once you've seen the same move once or twice, it's just sort of like, oh, do something different. Storytelling. And I'm not talking about just the build-up, I'm talking about within the match. Getting that story, that even if it's just a basic heel-face dynamic, really selling that and showing the story, showing it, the one guy getting his 5 minutes, the other guy getting his 5 minutes, and the pull of it. I don't know if I'm phrasing this really, really well. Psychology. I quite like matches that are psychologically based. I kind of like, it's one of the few things I do like about Alberto Del Rio, is the fact that he sets people up for his finishing manoeuvre. And I like that. I like that kind of classic ring psychology. I really like sort of like working on an arm or a shoulder or a neck or a particular area to build up for your finisher. I think that adds a lot to a match. Selling is a big point, because you can do the biggest moves in the world, but if you stand up and act like nothing's happened afterwards, then the move itself loses credence. It's one of the things that I really like about Dolph Ziggler, is that he uses a sleeper hold and people actually sell it. They actually sell they're like being dizzy and being lightheaded because of the lack of blood to the brain, because the whole point of a sleeper hold is that it cuts off your blood flow to your brain so you pass out. And I just find that selling is absolutely vital. I've always said that as much as I adore Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I do, if people had never sold the Stone Cold Stunner, it would never have been as impressive. And nobody took a stunner like Jericho or The Rock. And it has to be said. There's taking a stunner and then there's taking a stunner. It's very much the same with the RKO. There's some guys where it's just like, and then there's some guys who really sell it and it looks really good and it's like, wow, that's an impressive looking move. Build up is so important. It's so important because it gets you interested in it. The storyline and the build up is so important, because if the storyline's rubbish It doesn't matter how good the match is. If the storyline's rubbish, it's kind of like, meh. It'll fall flat. Because of the next bit, which is emotional involvement. The build-up creates emotional involvement. It makes you care about who wins and who loses. And that's so important. It's so important to make the crowd give a shit about who wins. It's one of the biggest criticisms I've had over the WWE recently, is that I'm struggling to care about some of the matches they're putting on. Mainly because I'm not a Mark Henry fan. So the World Heavyweight title picture for me is very dull. I actually nearly fell asleep at the start of their match at Vengeance, which is not a good sign really. But it did have a reasonable build up, but I was just like, I just didn't care. And I need to care. I want to be that insane fan screaming at the television screen. I want to be that Mark, that 12-year-old kid that's still in me, that really wants to be so excited that she jumps out of her seat. I want that from what I'm watching. A good point to make is that you also need uniqueness to a match, because as good as the first Christian Randy Orton was, and even the second Christian Randy Orton, and you could even stretch it to the third, after that it was just like, it's the same match, and it lost and lost and lost because it stopped being unique. I realise there's only so many guys and you can only do so many different scenarios, but I really do genuinely think that adding little things to each match to make them different, to make them entertaining, is so important. It's one of the things that Jericho and Rey Mysterio did extremely well in their feud, was make every match different in some way, and they did it so well. But yeah, that uniqueness, expectation, I think, is also quite important factor, because if you walk into watching a pay-per-view thinking, right, that match is going to be okay, that match is going to be okay, that match is going to be good, that match is going to be crap, that match is going to be great. If all the lower card matches are okay or good, and the match that you thought was going to be great wasn't great, you're going to hate the pay-per-view, because it's all about what you expect from the match. If you expect it to be great, it needs to be at least up to your level of expectation, which I think has to do with the build-up as well. I think if it's built up right and then the match is good, then it meets your expectation of it. Whereas if the build-up's rubbish and the match is okay, you don't expect that much coming into it, and if you don't get that much, then you're not that bothered. But if you have the build-up and you have the expectation and it meets the expectation, then it's fucking amazing. It is that burst of, oh my god, I'm watching something that's gonna go down as a 5-star match, that's really seriously impressive. And there are two other factors that I put with this. One of which is commentary, because I've noticed, certainly on Raw and somewhat on SmackDown as well, I struggle to get into a match when the commentators aren't talking about the match. I mean, I know they are doing the whole heel face, but it's about them, it's not about the guys in the ring, and I find that really frustrating, because it's like I'm trying to watch a match and all I can hear is you bitching and talking about other stuff, and you're not even mentioning the guys in the ring, which is one of the reasons why I miss JR so much and why I really enjoy JR being back, because he kept saying, let's go back to calling the people in the ring, look at the guys in the ring, sort of thing. And that's what matters. That is what sells your product. Yes, it is an entertainment show, but it's sports entertainment, and what is happening in the ring, when it is happening, should be the focus of your attention. It shouldn't be what's going to happen later on in the night. It shouldn't be what's going to happen in the next match. It shouldn't be who Michael Cole's challenging to do what, which is just, it literally makes me want to tear my hair out. It's just like, shut up! Especially during the Divas, because when the Divas actually have a good match, which isn't like that frequently, you're trying to get into it, and when the commentators aren't paying any attention, it's so frustrating. And the last piece of this is the crowd reaction. The one thing I loved most about the Money in the Bank CM Punk match is that it's the first Cena match in so long where the crowd was going, let's go Cena, CM Punk. Let's go Cena, CM Punk. It wasn't let's go Cena, Cena sucks. It wasn't all about Cena. And you need guys like that. You need people who will split a fucking crowd down the middle. You want the crowd to be screaming for the guy they like. And I think the biggest, as much as Cena provokes an amazing amount of crowd reaction, and I give him all the credit in the world for that, as much as I'm not the biggest Cena fan in the world, I'm not the biggest Cena hater either, but I give him all the credit in the world for the fact that he provokes emotion, which I think is really cool. But it's so much better when you've got someone in the ring with him who actually provokes the same level of emotion. I think that makes something so much better. I love it when crowd reactions are split. I love it. I even love it when they're doing the punch, cheer, punch, boo. It's brilliant. It's so entertaining because it brings you in. It calls on that inner kid in you that watched this as a young person and fell in love with it, and it brings that back out of you because the crowd are into it, because the crowd are pulling for it. It brings you in. So that's my 10 factors that make a regular match a 5-star match. So I'll just run back through them quickly. Mixture of match moves, storytelling, psychology, selling, build-up, expectation, uniqueness, emotional involvement, commentary and crowd reaction. I'll put them in the description box. I will put the future my future main eventers and upper mid-carders, and I've got a list of people that I want to shout out. Beer Money 2K, absolutely awesome channel, go and check them out. I'm going to try and put annotations, go check them out. WWE Daniel 01, which is British Fist, go check them out. Most Extreme Wrestling, Crystal and Chronic, love both of them so much. They're a really rare one because it's a man and wife team, and they are just so entertaining and so funny. They recently did a Q&A for their 400 subs. Go and watch it, honestly. It had me in bits giggling. Especially as Chronic was getting slightly tipsy at the end. Also, Dash and Kevin Walsh, Boston fan, and a new channel which is the Wrestling Shooters. Go check out all of these guys. Give them a sub if you like what you see. And that's me. So take care, everybody. Lots of love to Rated RKO. I'm hoping that was on the camera screen so you can actually see it. We move the camera around. So we have Edge Bear and my RKO cat. So it's Rated RKO. Anyway, enough of my insanity. I will speak to you guys soon. Take care. Lots of love. Stay nutty. And mwah.